know you guys are laughing at me right now. It's really fucking hard to point in reverse. Get off my ass. Since the latest Sopranos episode dropped, it was brought to my attention that the actress who played Tony Soprano's mother died. And for that, I need some Fireball. Let me pour one out for her. She was a wonderful actress, and any of my hatred for the character had nothing to do with her as an actress. I mean, she was fucking amazing. And apparently, she was battling lung cancer throughout the course of shooting the series. And lung cancer is what killed my mother, and prostate cancer killed my dad. So fuck cancer. Let's put that on record. Matter of fact, double fuck cancer. But it gives me a lot of empathy for the actress, and I don't think anybody ever thought I hated the actress. But it was interesting because, like, the thing was, I had a sneaking suspicion maybe that they did this at this time because the actress died. Because, like I said, I would have killed the character in season 4 or 5, leading into the end of the series, right? And I had made many mistakes, by the way, today in the episodes today, where like I thought there was 5 seasons, apparently there's 6. So I'm a dumbass. But in my defense, in all these cases, I've been afraid to Google the show because spoilers are out there, man. You talk about here there be dragons, here there be fucking spoilers. So I don't want to Google any information. I feel comfortable going on IMDb a little bit. Even that, like, I don't want to delve too deep into it. So there's going to be a few factual errors about the show until I get done with it, and then I can properly research this shit. Normally, like if I was just watching this without reactions, and I wasn't afraid of spoilers, which a lot of times I'm not, I would have just Googled when she died, and it lined it up with when this was shot and figured it out, right? But it made me interested. The reason, like in editing, I was like, well, maybe she died, and I convinced myself she hadn't died because there was a scene that Tony had with her that was very plot relevant. And then, of course, that same episode, she dies. So I was like, how would they know to write this? It takes time to write all these scripts, and these scripts are meshing into each other, and it all fits thematically and everything. It's like, so if she had died while they were shooting this episode, for instance, then how would they have fucking done? Like, it's impossible. I know as a filmmaker, it's impossible. So either they knew she was dying, so they shot this scene with her, and how would they know she's dying? Even if she had lung cancer, who knows when that would take you, right? Or they didn't know she was dying, and somehow they lucked into having this scene with her that fits perfectly into her death. With the whole grandmother remembers books and shit like that. So that convinced me she hadn't died. Come to find out, from what people have been telling me, she was dead, and they shot this scene, with trickery and shenanigans and chicanery. I have a mentalist friend who that's what he talks about, chicanery and something else. Basically just don't look at this hand. Let me stay busy with this hand. Watch this hand. Don't pay attention to what's happening over here. Right, that kind of shit. And it really impressed me because I never in this course of the scene. And it's just one scene in many. And of course, I saw the scene before the character died, so I wasn't paying attention to that part of it. Right. It completely fooled me. And so I wanted to rewatch the scene and break it down and look at how they constructed a scene around a dead actor. Because there's a lot of tricks you can use. I have in my mind what I think they probably did. Body doubles. Obviously, at some point, they superimposed. They used old footage. They brought in another character to do most of the dialogue, so they don't have to keep, like, mining dialogue. And they were having to reuse old dialogue too, right? So, and you got to think about how much excess footage and deleted scenes is. A lot of times. Here's another thing people don't often understand. They look on DVD and they say, okay, there was only 3 deleted scenes all season. Well, that must have been all they cut. No, a lot of times they're just cutting a single line, or they're cutting 2 lines, or they're cutting 3 lines. Like, say a scene when they shot it, it had 50 lines. What makes it on air is 45 lines. So there's 5 lines that got cut. That's not enough to put on a DVD. Like, nobody's going to sit there and watch a fucking scene that is 3 minutes and 20 seconds long instead of the scene that when it originally aired was 3 minutes and 5 seconds long. Nobody's going to do that, right? But that's 15 seconds they cut out. So you can go back and you say, okay, these are all the lines we cut, so people won't realize we're repetitious. And we can mine from there, right? So over the course of a season, you may have a couple hundred lines that were cut. Just here and there. Just really short. And basically, you tighten the scene you don't remove any of the context of the scene. You just tighten little beats. Take a 3-minute scene and cut it down to 2 minutes and 10 seconds or whatever. That's how you can fit this to space, because they have to fit to like 41 minutes and 5 seconds. Not the case here with Sopranos because it's on cable, but I'm just saying in general, you know. So, like, they had a lot to work with. So I suspect they used a body double. They brought in somebody else to do most of the exposition, and then some kind of CGI at some point. Somebody talked about a weird head. So let's break it down. Okay, so here we go. Okay, the first thing I'm noticing here.
Look who comes.
Look at that. Okay, so you got the body double. The camera's way back here, halfway past the next room. We're behind her. It all makes sense. They drop in light of her dialogue. We instantly and completely believe that this is her. You know, very well done. And I think I even remember that "Look Who Called" lines from earlier. You know, and I think it was on the phone earlier. I mean, like season 1 or something. And I think it was like it may have been his wife that called or something, or maybe it was him. But in the old days when you would come to somebody's house, I was calling on it, so it makes sense within context. It makes sense that that's a line she would say, right? So that's very well done. So far, very well done, obviously, and it just sucks you right in. Immediately, you buy that it's her.
See, I'm standing here funny.
Hey. See? Like, that's very good shit right there, man. This is good shit because that could have been from anything. You know what I mean? And and again, you completely buy it's her, right? She's still sitting in the chair.
Standing here funny.
Man, that's good shit. That's really good shit. Who knows where the hell they pulled that from? And so probably what they did is at first they found the footage they were going to use, and then they built the scene around it. Okay, well she's in this chair. Let's put the chair here. You know, so far so good. Then we got her coming in.
What do you care?
Yeah. What do you care?
Right out of mind.
Not bad. I mean, see again, like there's no doubt she's in the scene. You put this head here, that could be anybody with a fucking wig. She's here so that you can do most of your dialogue with her. This is a body double. And then so far with just a couple cuts, we completely buy she's in the scene. Great shit so far, you know?
Watch some books on tape, since you say you can't concentrate to read. I wish the Lord would take me now.
And see here, now this is interesting. This is obviously a composite shot, okay? And again, like nothing she says so far is directly into what he's saying, even though you would write to that if you need to, where she can directly acknowledge what you're saying, but you only have the footage you can work with. But you can take, somebody would give me 2 minutes of footage of her, I could write a scene with whatever it is you give me that she's saying, I could write a scene around it. But of course, in this case, I want it to be to a specific purpose. So that limits them a little more. I can make a scene about anything, it would be easy, right? But you have a specific purpose you're trying to achieve, that makes it a little bit more difficult. Yeah, this is a composite shot that you just totally buy. You can kind of see here that this doesn't quite, you can see here that it doesn't quite mesh perfectly, right? I mean, what do you want to do? Like, it's fucking 18 years old. Like, they did this 18 years ago. This is super impressive so far. But this really, again, everything they're doing reinforces this is all happening in the same space and time. Everything they're doing is just really sucks you into it. There was no doubt in my mind this is happening at the same time.
Take me now. Well, in the meantime.
I love that line, by the way. In the meantime.
The horse whisperer and Omerta.
Okay, now this composite shot, you can just kind of tell it doesn't quite mesh right. You see? This is really fucking impressive, actually.
What's wrong? Tell me. What are you going to freak out?
Yeah, see, this one I don't know. I don't know where they pulled this from. So far, a lot of the dialogue I kind of remember from some. What they did is probably they use alternate takes because they shoot everything like 3 or 4 times. Use an alternate take. The delivery is slightly different. It doesn't feel like it's a copy paste situation. But who knows what the hell that line was from? But this right here is one of the more impressive shots they've done so far. You just completely fucking buy it, man.
Whisperer and Omerta. Oh, what's wrong? Tell me. What are you going to freak out every time I try to do something nice for you? Jesus.
I don't know what anybody's saying about Weird Head. That's because I seriously doubt they superimposed her head on somebody. They had the footage, right? It's probably just old footage. Unless they did. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did superimpose it. I don't know why you would unless she was in. They never had a shot with her in a chair and they need her in a chair, But otherwise, so far so good, man.
She's going to finish baby journals from long
Yeah.
time ago.
Then you get a
My
couple.
idea.
She could be reacting to anything. The director could have been saying, "Let's do one more take before lunch," and she's fucking hungry. They hadn't even rolled tape yet. Well, I mean, clearly they've rolled it. But, they haven't said action yet, and she's sitting there saying, "God damn, I'm hungry." Like, yeah, that's something you do a lot too. Or you start the camera first, then you check audio. Then if you have background action, you call for background action. Only then do you say action. So you have a good 10 to 40 seconds sometimes footage of an actor before you call action. I've at times pulled from that for reaction shots. Because sometimes there's some really authentic reaction from whatever's going on. Like maybe the DP has a question for me before we actually get rolling, before I say action. And then they'll have a reaction. And when I'm in editing, I'm like, oh shit, I can use this. I've done that many times.
Oh, yeah, I remember these. Someone gave you one of these for each of the kids when they were born. What the fuck? Look at this.
Yeah, clearly, double. Photo double.
Supposed to fill these out. 20 years. Fucking nothing.
Now look here. I don't like that kind of talk.
I'm starting to think this is a superimposed. That looks superimposed. Maybe that's what people were talking about with the fake head. Holy shit. Look at that. Does that look superimposed? This doesn't look. The head doesn't look like it belongs on the body. Interesting. That's the first time I felt that way. And I remember when, because she was on the couch or something, and she was saying it. And I remember it being like a 3-shot. And he was like, it was in season 1, maybe the one of the first scenes we had with her where he was cussing. She's talking about, don't like that kind of talk. And so I guess they wanted, if they move her to a different piece of furniture, they felt like that was better, I guess. And besides, she's on the couch against the wall, you can't get behind her, and you need those behind her shots. You really need those. So you have to do less of this shit, right? Yeah, I guess they did superimpose her head. This a very interesting choice. I wouldn't have done that myself. It seems like a lot of unnecessary work. But I bought it. I didn't notice it the first time. It's only because I'm looking at it. I'm scrutinizing this shit now. Do I notice it?
Now look here.
Yeah.
I don't like that
Yeah,
kind
that
of
is
talk.
100% a
Now
superimposed
just
head.
stop it. It upsets me.
Some of them are returning these books that the kids
Interesting.
fill with memories. You can
My thing is, though, if you buy it the first time around, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if it doesn't hold up to scrutiny 4 or 5 times through. Like, yes, you want your shows to be rewatchable, but this is the kind of thing the word's going to get out sooner or later. She was dead by this time anyway. People are going to know anyway. You just want people the first time they watch this to buy it, which I did. So,
write stuff down from your life for your grandkids.
It's none of anybody's business.
okay, and then that could be, she could be talking about anything. It's not, I mean, that could have been from anywhere. And again, it's anytime the camera's not on, you can just drop dialogue in. That's a godsend in a situation like this,
You feel sorry for yourself.
She will do it.
And see, you needed this extra character to really make this shit work. You need a third character. It's all these choices are brilliant. Other than the superimposed head, which I would have done, but it worked. So
She realized that. Keep her mind active.
Why do anything if there's not something in it for her?
Yeah, again, like reaction shots. There's so much you could do with that. There's so much. Game of Thrones proved that. They did so much with just reaction shots and just people standing there silently that the amount of dialogue per minute on Game of Thrones dropped every season. Because of that, because they started doing more of that shit. But there's a lot you can do with that. That's why they did it.
Listen up. I want you to concentrate. I know it's difficult. Remember the airline tickets?
The tickets were stolen.
And that must have been from last season. I don't remember her saying that, but I'm sure it was. If it didn't air, it was obviously during one of the scenes that they cut a few lines from the entire when the cops were talking to her, or maybe when she had a phone conversation later with him, something like that. So they could have got that from anywhere.
Did you say that? Or did the feds say that? What did you tell them when you were in the lockup?
Oh, what did I do?
That could have been from anywhere. That's good
They're trying to
shit.
build a RICO case against me. What are you going to say? They put you on a witness
Reaction
stand.
shots, good
The
shit.
only reason they let you go is to get your cooperation.
This is bad. I don't know why I didn't see this. You know why this is bad? Because the light source is on this side of her face. And the light source is on this side of her body. You see that? That's bad. You can't have the light on this side of your face and the body be the light. Because look at me, okay? Look at me right here. Jesus, okay, yeah. This area right here isn't dark. This is darker because there's no light that way. There's no light. Jesus, trying to point in reverse is fucking difficult, man. Stop. I know you guys are laughing at me right now. It's really fucking hard to point in reverse. Get off my ass. this, there's no light source over here, so this shit is in dark. So if I'm sitting here talking and there's a light on my face on this side, but my body has light on this side and this side is dark, you motherfuckers be like, what the fuck is going on? It's impossible. You notice the light is consistently on my body, right? That's the way it is. And that's where you really get in trouble with compositing, with CGI, any of this shit is the light is on one side of the face and the fucking dark, is on the other. So, this part's in light, this is in dark, this part's in light, that's in dark. That's terrible. I don't know how this got through there. Like, they should have done something different. I don't know how did this happen? Like, when on the day they were shooting, they didn't know maybe they did the same shit I did where they were looking at it in reverse. That can happen. But, man, it's just, this looks shitty. This looks bad. This is probably what everybody noticed. I didn't notice it again. Like, it got past me. So, but, man, this is bad. Now, that reaction, though, I remember thinking at the time, this is the only thing I noticed that was odd about this scene. I was like, why is she being so evasive? And I started, like, creating all this headcanon in my head that I was going to comment on later, and then she died, and I forgot about it. But it came back to me as I rewatched this. She didn't answer his question. And the reason she didn't answer her question is because they didn't get any dialogue that would possibly match what he was saying. So they just have her do a reaction, right? See this right here? Just a reaction. Don't wave your hanky at me. That was the only thing that struck me as odd about this whole scene.
What are you going to say from now on? I never stated those tickets were stolen, capiche?
See, again, though, you got the lighting. This is a major lighting issue, man. I don't know how the fuck this got through. Like, it just doesn't work. I mean, look at how dark this is right here. And, yeah, it doesn't work, man.
The Barb will testify I didn't say it, but you got to back her up.
I suppose I should have just kept my mouth shut.
And,
like a mute.
And I do remember her saying that line in season 1. But, again, I thought a lot of this was just like, poetry. It rhymes. People repeat things. That's what I thought it was. Which I do in writing sometimes. Everybody does. It's good writing, Because some people, they just repeat rote statements. Like, that's just the way they are. But it makes sense, and it kind of answers. Well, again, like they knew what they had to work with, and they wrote Tony's dialogue around what they had to work with.
Future, any kind of deal they try to make.
And what's so interesting about this, and I didn't pick up on this. Obviously, it's all one shots or two shots with him, and there's never a shot with these two together. Now, there's a shot behind him, like basically at the beginning of the scene, they do two shots. When he's coming in the door, we're behind her. And then when we're behind him and we're looking at her, with those two shots, we buy they're in the same room. And then they never do it again. It's all one shots. It's close on her. It's close on him. It's close on her. It's close on him. It's the two of them, the maid or whatever she is, the Russian chick. Those two together. But we never see the two of them in the scene as a two shot, right? Which I didn't pick up on it, but that's a clear indication.
You keep your mouth shut.
And, again, she must have did a lot of this shit in B-roll, just like, maybe she was fucking around in between takes and stuff, and, I don't know. But they got a lot of mileage out of that in this scene. And then again, here at the end of the scene, they're doing this little tie. And they did do this tie-in, too, where they're behind her head, That's easy to composite. Or not even composite, you have a body double, actually. That's easy to do.
For a year, I didn't speak to you. Maybe I should have kept it that way.
Again, that's about the fourth time they've done a no dialogue reaction from her. You can get a lot of mileage out of that shit. The audience puts in what you want. Like I said, Game of Thrones did it all the time. They got a lot of mileage out of that.
Fuck it, do what you want.
And again, like with the beginning, that's easy to do. So, in conclusion, and, thinking about the fact that this was 20 years ago, and it fooled me on the first time through, so I couldn't give them any less than a B+, right? Because it fooled me the first time through. That's the ultimate test. It accomplished what it was supposed to accomplish. The only thing better than that would be if you can continuously fool people on rewatches, even if they know it. Even if they fucking know that's not the same person. If you fool them on rewatches, a good example of that is Red Skull in Endgame, that's not the same actor. But you could have fucking fooled me. Every time I watch it, I still see the same actor, right? So, like, in the voice, great job. They did a great job there. So basically, I would give them an A-. It's like, I agree with everything they did. I liked everything they did other than the whole superimposed head, which, again, works the first time through. Doesn't work after that. I don't know why they did it. I'm sure they had a reason. They're very smart people, great filmmakers, you know. And I think they did a wonderful job considering, you know. And somebody was telling me like they had to rewrite the first two episodes of this season because she died close, probably when they were in pre-production, you know. And the way these kind of shows work, like HBO shows, they have all the scripts written. You know, network TV, because of deadlines, they only have, like, say if there's a 13 episode season, they only have 6 episodes written. So 20 episode season, they may have 8 episodes written before they go into production, and then the writers are working on it as they're producing, right? So, in other words, if something happened like right before they were start shooting, the back 12 episodes of a 20 episode season hadn't even been written yet, so the writers don't have to change a bunch of shit. Show like this, they'd probably written everything, depending on how close they were to production when she died, right? So, yeah, they were very nimble on their feet in this. You know, I think they did a fantastic job. I gotta say.